Now at 5:30 on Newswatch.
Early voters start to cast their ballots for next week's elections in Ohio counties.
A northeastern Ohio high school shooting leaves the community devastated.
And in sports, the Ohio men's basketball team played its final home game of the season last night against first-placed Akron.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens. This is Newswatch.
The Ohio primary election is a little more than a week away. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alyssa Hansen.
And I'm Rachel Hoops. Some voters have decided to skip the lines on Election Day and vote early. But Athens County has seen fewer early voters than expected. Only 2% of all registered voters have requested a ballot. WOUB's Tina Kuna reports about what the Board of Election is expecting for next Tuesday.
Almost 48,200 registered voters in Athens County. Some of them have already cast their votes.
It wasn't quite as heavy as I thought it would be, but early voting is really absentee voting. The absentee requests have been 1,166. That's people that have actually requested a ballot. We've had 762 of those returned.
This year will be the biggest one for the Board of Elections budget in a 4-year cycle. Debbie Creevy said they are glad there will be only one primary election and not two, as had been discussed. This saves the board up to $60,000. Still, they expect to see an impact on the budget.
4 years ago, the presidential was the biggest election we had saw here. I've been here 20 years, and the deputy director has been here over 30, and it's the biggest one that we have saw. We would not be surprised if this fall wouldn't even be bigger.
The Board of Elections have hired a few extra people to help during the primary, and there will be even more for the presidential election in November. Tina Kühne reporting for WOUB News.
The booths for early voting are open until Friday at 6. Voting by mail will be possible until Saturday at noon.
A Belpre man is in custody on charges of trafficking in marijuana. Task force agents in Washington County raided Charlie Jackson III's home and found more than 9 pounds of marijuana, digital scales, and a vacuum sealing machine. This investigation also led to the arrest of Vincent Hampton and John Hampton. Police say both men had marijuana in their possession and both are on bond. Jackson is still being held at the Washington County Jail.
The widow of a man who released exotic animals in Zanesville last fall is now fighting to get back guns police took from her property. Zanesville police seized 133 guns from Terry Thompson's home in 2008 because of federal weapons charges. His wife, Marion Thompson, says she is the rightful owner of the guns. Prosecutors say Marion knew about her husband's illegal activity involving the weapons. A federal judge in Columbus has denied a request for summary judgment, and a trial is set to begin on May 7th. The man responsible for 4 burglaries in Huntington is now behind bars. James Keeney is charged with 4 counts of burglary, including 1 count of assault. A woman noticed things missing from her house on Saturday and called a neighbor for help. While on the phone, Keeney came back and a neighbor held him down until police arrived. Police have been able to connect Keeney to 4 burglaries, all within 3 blocks of Saturday night's break-in. Keeney is being held at the Western Regional Jail.
The Athens City School Board voted to close Chansey Elementary School on Thursday, but there will still be major budget cuts to come. The board voted unanimously to shut down the school starting with the 2012 to 2013 school year. But according to Athens City School Superintendent Carl Martin, the closing will only save about $1 million. They are currently facing a $2 million budget deficit. The deficit is blamed on state funding reductions and a decline in enrollment. The district will face a $12 million shortage by 2016. The City of Athens has been given an award to recognize its love for local food. The Central Appalachian Network will give Athens close to $14,000 to continue the 30-mile meal program. The program encourages local restaurants and businesses to sell and serve food products that come from within a 30-mile radius of the city. There are currently 150 partners involved in the program, and the city hopes to use the money to expand further into Ohio and West Virginia.
Good evening from the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Alex George. Currently in Athens, it is 62 degrees, and because of a cold front we have moving through, we have strong winds with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Our humidity is at 30% and our pressure is remaining steady. Across the region, we're seeing conditions that are about the same. 56 degrees in Columbus. It's a little bit warmer in the southern part of our region. 65 degrees in Portsmouth and 62 degrees in Parkersburg. Moving into tomorrow, it's going to be a little bit chillier in the morning, 26 degrees at 6 a.m. and only 32 degrees at 9 a.m. So if you're headed off to work or school in the morning, make sure you grab your coat. But then around 3 p.m., it's going to be 50 degrees and only a few clouds. So it's going to be a pretty nice day again tomorrow, just not as warm as temperatures we saw today.
I think if 50 degrees is just a little bit chillier, I think I can deal with that for wintertime.
Absolutely. Absolutely. At the end of February, this has been great.
Perfect. Thanks, Alex.
Yep.
A shooting at Chardon High School has left 1 student dead and 4 others injured. Officials say the gunman opened fire early this morning in the cafeteria. CNN reporter Emily Schmidt has the latest on the shooting.
The school day at Chardon High School began with the kind of images people in this suburban Cleveland community had seen in other places, but didn't expect here.
No, this stuff doesn't happen.
Officials say an armed gunman believed to be a high school student entered the cafeteria and began shooting. The gunman was captured, but not before wounding students.
He actually turned himself in to a couple innocent bystanders just north of the city here in Chardon Township.
Helicopters flew some of the injured students to the hospital. The school went into lockdown, then moved the rest of the students to a nearby elementary school, with worried parents outside.
I'm nervous. I want to know, is the shooter out of the building, or is the shooter still in the building? I want to know. I just want my daughter out of the building.
We are taking 5 parents in at a time.
One school official says mental health professionals are coming to the scene to talk with the students.
I just can't believe anything that's happening. Why would this happen? I mean, your life is worth everything you have.
As they learn more about why a suspect who may have been their classmate would open fire within school walls. I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
ATF agents are now tracking the gun that was used in order to figure out its history. Officials say there are grief counselors available for students, and there will be a community candlelight vigil tomorrow night.
Gas prices are on the rise in Ohio and across the nation.
Debates continue across Europe on how to deal with the Greece bailout plan.
And a surprising discovery made in stem cell research that will change infertility treatments. Next on Newswatch. Gas prices are on the rise, and it is getting more and more expensive to fill up your car. But it is especially hard for those business owners who rely on gas to keep their doors open. Reporter Suzanne Malvo takes a closer look at these individuals who rely on gas for their livelihood.
All right, and away we go. Well, welcome to my office.
Beautiful.
Got the best view in town?
The View, Phoenix, Arizona. Small business owner Kevin Flanagan. How long have you been doing this?
I've been flying hot air balloons for 28 years now, so I've been one of the luckiest guys around.
But Kevin's luck is running out.
There's 105,000 cubic feet of just space above us, so the propane heats the air inside and that makes it fly. And it seems like whenever the gas prices go up, the propane prices shoot up as well. And just a few years ago, we were about $1.85 a gallon, and now it's $2.99 a gallon, just like kind of overnight.
So the bottom line, how does that affect your profit?
It kind of takes any profit away. So right now, I'd say most companies are operating at break even.
So that's the view from 1,000 feet above. But what about on the ground? We decided to come here to the Desert's Edge RV camp. This is where folks travel across the country in their trailers, their RVs. These are the people who are really impacted by the rising price of gas. This is home for now, yes?
This is our home, our vacation home.
It's fantastic. I love it.
Home away from home.
It's huge. It's really big. Tell me a little bit about what does it cost to fill the tank?
Well, it's a 100-gallon tank, and it'll cost, well, $4 a gallon, $400 to fill the tank.
For Dean Baker, that means cutting back on family vacations, but the expense is still worth it.
Being in this enclosed space with 2 little kids, a 5- and an 8-year-old, sometimes it'll drive you crazy, but it's great because, you know, you've got everything you need here, and that family time of being together real close. It's the close-knit time. That's the greatest part.
You can't beat that.
Yeah.
You want mild and you want spicy, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. At the local art fair, we met chefs Pam and Ron Marr, who traveled all the way from Washington State.
We have the original flavor, heavy garlic and soy with a little touch of cayenne.
They say higher gas prices mean lower sales.
By mid-year, if it's still as high or higher, it will translate into my product price, and that means probably less sales that I will have as well.
And despite some big promises from the Republican candidates that they'll bring gas prices down, no one I talked to here was buying it.
Is there anybody, any of the Republican candidates who you think has a good idea to bring this place back?
You know, at this point, I don't know. I'm kind of confused by politics because everybody's saying stuff and how it's all going to turn around, and, you know, the bottom result is at the pump.
Ohio gas pumps are taking a big hit, too. According to Auto Club AAA, state gas prices are up 21 cents this week. Drivers are paying more than 30 cents more per gallon than they were this time last year.
The economy has been rough on much of the country, and college campuses are now trying to help out their students. College and universities nationwide are trying to open up food pantries to help out college students who are strapped for cash. According to USA Today, the University of Georgia, Oregon State University, and the University of Arkansas are among a long list of schools that opened up a food pantry for their students last year. The food pantries offer an assortment of food and supplies, including cereal, meats, produce, and toiletries. There may be new hope for those who suffer from infertility. Scientists in Massachusetts have been able to use stem cells to grow human eggs. The group first tested the theory on mice. They were able to cultivate the eggs that could be fertilized and produce embryos. The researchers then moved on to produce immature egg cells using human ovaries. The work is still in the early stages, but there is great hope for the future applications of the technology.
The Republican race for the presidential nomination is heating up with more primary contests this week and Super Tuesday next week. 2 states will head into the voting booths tomorrow to choose their candidate. CNN reporter Greg Black takes a look at the upcoming political fight.
The remaining 4 Republican presidential candidates have just a day to win over voters in Michigan and Arizona. The 2 primaries will be the first nominating contest since Mitt Romney won Maine more than 2 weeks ago. Now he's looking to sweep both of tomorrow's contests.
I need you to get out and vote. Let's take the first step to a better future on Tuesday. All right, guys?
Romney got a boost to his bid yesterday with an endorsement from Arizona Governor Jan Brewer.
I think he's the right man for the right time.
But Romney has a challenge on his hands. Polls show a virtual toss-up in both Arizona and Michigan between him and Rick Santorum. Despite Michigan being considered Romney's home turf, the state where his father was governor.
I'm sure Governor Romney, getting into this race, thought he would have to spend $20 and easily cruise to victory in Michigan. And here we are being badly outspent again by his super PAC and his big dollar friends. And we're hanging in there, holding our own.
So far, all of the candidates, except Congressman Ron Paul, have a victory under their belts. Newt Gingrich, who hasn't won since South Carolina's primary last month, says even he doesn't know how it will all end.
It's like riding the Space Mountain at Disney. You're in the dark, you're not sure where you were, you're not sure where you are, and you're not sure where you're going.
I'm Greg Black reporting.
After Tuesday's votes, the candidates will head to Wyoming for caucuses there. Washington State's caucus is scheduled for Saturday, and Super Tuesday is next week. Some of the world's top phone manufacturers are showing off their wares at the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. The world's largest industry event is often used as a platform by companies to make big product announcements and launches. This year, the 60,000 attendees can expect to see a few new developments, including the so-called mobile hybrids and super-fast smartphones.
Syria is holding a vote on a new constitution today, but the opposition groups are boycotting the vote, saying they will expect nothing less than for the Syrian president to step down. At the same time, the country's military continues to attack the city of Homs. Thousands are leaving Syria and fleeing to Jordan. Jordan says it is host to more than 80,000 Syrian refugees. Some 73,000 have entered legally across Jordan's northern border. Another 10,000 are estimated to have slipped in. A train derailment in Canada has left 3 employees dead and dozens of passengers injured. All 6 cars on the train derailed as it headed from Niagara to Toronto. A Via Rail Canada spokesman said 2 engineers and an engineer trainee died in the accident. 45 others were sent to the hospital with injuries. The spokesman said 3 had severe injuries, including a broken leg, a back injury, and a heart attack. The train derailed when it took a diverging track and hit some parked freight cars parked on the side of the track. An investigation is currently underway.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel is leading a debate in Parliament over whether to back a second Greek bailout. Berlin has to come up with the largest share of the $175 billion package. The vote is expected to go through, but it's not being taken for granted. The chancellor says that taxpayers are less and less happy about their money going to Greece. And on Wall Street today, stocks had mixed results as the Dow finished slightly negative, but the S&P had its best close since 2008. Banks and consumer stocks were the main reason for the lift in stocks, but many are worried for the rest of the week since oil prices continue to rise. Here's a look at stocks of local interest.
Coming up on Newswatch, we'll talk about these unusually warm February temperatures. We have a low pressure system coming our way, which means some heavy rains, and we'll take a look at my extended forecast. Stay tuned. Currently in Athens, it is 62 degrees, but because of a cold front we have that's moving through, we have strong wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Across the region, we have temperatures that are about the same condition. In Columbus, it's 56 degrees. In Portsmouth, it's 65 degrees. And in Parkersburg, it's 62 degrees. Over here, we have this cold front that's moving through. That caused some of the strong wind gusts that we saw today. But up here, we have a high pressure system that's going to keep things dry for us overnight tonight and into tomorrow. Overnight tonight, it will be 27 degrees and clear skies, but decreasing temperatures. The winds will calm down, then they will be from 6 to 9 miles per hour. Overnight tonight in Columbus, it will be 26 degrees, 27 in Portsmouth, and 26 degrees in Parkersburg, but not much going on. It's going to be a pretty clear night tonight. Today, we had a high of 59 degrees, and the average is 47 degrees. The record was 73 degrees in 1996. Our low today was 23 degrees. The average is about 28 degrees, so it wasn't too far off. And the record was -1 degrees in 1963. The sun rose this morning at 7:04 a.m., and the sun will be setting shortly at 6:19 p.m. Tomorrow, things are going to cool off a little bit. In the morning, we're going to start at 26 degrees, but around 9 a.m., it's going to be 32 degrees. But by 5 p.m., it will be about 50 degrees, so it's going to be a pretty nice day. We'll see a couple clouds, but other than that, not bad. Tomorrow, we'll have a high of 52 degrees. It's going to be sunny, but overnight, we're going to see some very heavy rains and some thunderstorms. The winds will be calm. Tomorrow, we'll have a high of 58 degrees in Portsmouth, 52 degrees in Athens, and 49 degrees in Columbus. Not the warm temperatures that we saw today, but it's still going to be fairly nice tomorrow for the end of February. Tomorrow night is when we're going to see that rain come in. It's going to come in around midnight, and they're talking heavy rain and some possible thunderstorms. 43 degrees in Portsmouth, 43 over in Athens, and 41 degrees in Columbus. Because of that high pressure system, we're going to be seeing warmer temperatures. This is what we're going to be seeing tomorrow night. This is the warm pressure system, and we have the low front over here, so it's moving through, and we're just going to see some nasty weather. Over the next few days, we're going to see some more rain. That's going to be Wednesday, and it should end up being, we'll see it, it will be dry throughout the evening. Looking at the rest of our extended forecast, it's going to be 52 degrees on Tuesday. Wednesday is when we're going to see the precipitation, but throughout the week, it's going to be a pretty calm week, and we're still going to see those warm temperatures.
Alex, I will sacrifice a little bit of that rain just to see those warmer temperatures.
Absolutely, it's going to be great.
Thanks, Alex.
And Pat Chiesa joins us now with sports and some big news in men's basketball. Last night's game was essentially a blowout.
That's right, Alyssa. The men's basketball team played in arguably its biggest game of the season last night at the Convo. And over the weekend, both the women's track and field team and the women's swimming and diving team headed to Akron for their respective conference championships. All that coming up next on Newswatch. It's still February, but for local high school boys basketball teams, the Madison March has already begun. Athens, Fed Hawk, and Nelsonville York all played in their respective sectional championships on Friday. Two of those teams managed to win the sectional crown and will be dancing at the Convo in the district semifinals. The Nelsonville York Buckeyes had no trouble punching their ticket to the Roundhouse on Richland against River Valley. The Bucks defeated the Raiders for the third time this season, this time winning by a final score of 52-31. NY found itself trailing 15-9 after one quarter of play, but then put the clamps down on defense, holding the Raiders to just 17 points the rest of the way. Senior Daniel Klein finished the game with a game-high 17 points for the Bucks. Nelsonville York will next meet Lucasville Valley at the Convo on March 5th. The Fed Hawk Lancers were oh so close yet oh so far away from beating the Southeastern Panthers on Friday. Panther junior Nick Kello nailed the game-winning three-ball with 30 seconds left to lift Southeastern from McAfee Gymnasium with a nail-biting 48-47 win. Southeastern's Michael Brown led all scorers with 23 points. Forward Max Carney chipped in 15 for the Lancers, but 7-foot center Chris Saylor struggled, scoring just 2 points. Despite the loss, this season was a big turnaround for Fed Hawk. The Lancers won 12 games this season after winning just 5 a season ago. And finally, the Athens Bulldogs turned Logan, Ohio into upset city by upending two-seeded Logan Elm 40-38. Senior Nick Stanley tallied a team-high 13 points and 8 rebounds despite playing with a torn labrum. Got to give it to him. Athens also got the win without senior forward and leader Josh Maxson, who was recently hospitalized with pneumonia. The Logan Elm Braves had 2 opportunities to tie the game in the final seconds, but both shots were off the mark. The Bulldogs will battle Circleville in the district semis this Wednesday at the Convo. And while 4 other TVC teams also took to the hardwood with their seasons on the line over the weekend, but only one advanced as 2 conference champs were dethroned. The Wellston Golden Rockets knocked off Meggs by 28 points behind 18 points from Blake Warrington. TVC Ohio regular season champ Vinton County saw its season come to a crashing halt at the hands of Fairfield Union. And TVC Hawking champ Belpre couldn't handle Zane Trace, losing by 14 points. So now we move on to the big boys of the NCAA, and man oh man was the Convo rocking last night when the first place Akron Zips came to town. Implications were everywhere. Coach John Gross and the Bobcats were looking to avenge a loss suffered to the Zips earlier this season. Akron was guaranteed yet another MAC regular season title if they won the game, and Ohio was looking to end its final regular season home game in record-breaking fashion. But when it was all said and done, the night of February 26th belonged to the Cats. Ohio knocked off the Zips in decisive fashion, taking this one by 24 points, 85-61. 3 guards scored in double figures for the Cats. Walter Offit scored 14 points and dished out 4 assists. DJ Cooper netted 11 points and dropped 10 dimes, but Nick Kellogg, the sophomore guard, was not to be outdone, shooting 6 of 9 from the field with 3 three-pointers, good for 17 points and just 24 minutes played, not too shabby. Ohio shot 57% from the field to Akron's 33%. Akron center Zeke Marshall, literally a big player who came into the contest averaging over 10 points and 5 rebounds, scored just 4 points in the contest. Ohio forward Reggie Keeley was one of the main reasons why Marshall was unable to dominate in the paint.
Last time we allowed them to get catches, and that really hurt us. But this time around, Coach made sure that we were physical with him and made him work for all his catches, and he really didn't like that, and that worked out in our favor.
You know, I thought our guys did a good job fighting him for position and making it difficult for him to get easy touches.
And speaking of Akron, that is where the women's swimming and diving team headed for the MAC championships this past weekend. The Cats put up a very strong showing, capturing second place behind Toledo. Sophomore Rachel Stearns claimed individual honors on the final day of the championships, winning the 200 backstroke and breaking a conference record in the process. Stearns and fellow sophomore Lauren Williams earned all MAC first team honors for Ohio. So Rachel and Alyssa, that's all I have for sports. Like I said, a huge win for the men's basketball team, but it's not over yet. They still do have 2 regular season games left, so every game from here on out is going to be important for the Cats.
All right, sounds like it. Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
And stay tuned tonight on WOUB.
Here's what's coming up next on your public television station.
And now Alex George, joins us now with a brief look at our weather for this evening and into tomorrow.
Well, it's going to be another great day in Athens tomorrow, 52 degrees and sunny. However, we have a low pressure system coming in throughout the night, so we're going to see some rain and thunderstorms throughout the evening. Tomorrow night, it's going to be heavy rains almost everywhere, 41 degrees in Columbus, 43 degrees in Athens. And then taking a look at our extended forecast, it's going to be nice tomorrow, just a little spot of rain Tuesday night and Wednesday night, but the rest of the week is going to be nice and sunny. So make sure and get out and enjoy it.
Oh, we will, trust me.
And you can't help, I mean, those temperatures in the 60s for February, that's not bad at all.
It's unbelievable.
And we'll take it while we get it. And the rain, like you said, just bring your umbrella, bring your rain boots, and you should be good to go.
Absolutely.
Great, thanks a lot, Alex.
Fishermen in Wisconsin needed more than a rod and reel to fish cars out of the water over the weekend. Dozens of vehicles fell into Lake Winnebago after the ice weakened in the sun. Officials say fishermen used the lake as a parking lot, but this time too many cars were on the ice and they were parked too close together. And that does it for our broadcast on this 27th of February 2012. Thanks for watching.
You can get the latest news and weather on the WOUB radio network. And remember, you can view our program anytime online at WOUB.org. Have a great night.